Good evening. I'd like to open the meeting of the Finance Committee. Sitting on behalf of the committee will be myself as chair, Councilor Gould, Councilor Manning Martin, Councilor McGinn, and Councilor Rossignol. Of course, all other councilors are welcome to join in. Good to see everybody here. First item on the agenda, item A, is status of appropriations for period ending July 31st, 2019. And it had a cover letter on it dated back in August of 2019. Frankly, I don't want to waste your time or my time looking at such dated information. What I'd like to suggest on behalf of the committee is that we schedule a meeting for the first meeting in November, and that we have the Director of Finance please bring with him to that meeting, or send us in advance of that meeting through October 31st, so that we can see a true year-to-date versus, I mean, to discuss something in July, again, is really not a good use of your time. I'd also like to have him provide the closeout for the prior fiscal year, which was it was kind of expressed in this letter that was sent. So it might be my fault that we didn't get this thing scheduled, but I just don't see it as being a valid thing to discuss this evening. Anybody else have Councilman McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So 8G in the package tonight, is that what you're looking for?
It should be. Yeah, it should be, because it's supposed to be everything through the end. And I want to give people the opportunity to review it, and we'll have a separate meeting on it. But what was in the packet for the agenda tonight was through July 31st, which to me makes zero sense to even discuss.
So there's no new request beyond what we're going to receive tonight and refer. I just want to make sure that we don't need to request any additional information, Mr. Chairman.
Did you provide the closeout for the prior year? Yeah.
Yeah, I submitted in this week's package the last year's closeout plus through September.
That's all we need.
Thank you.
Anybody care to discuss this any further? If not, I'm just going to refer it to the next meeting, and I'd ask Tim to set up the meeting prior to the first meeting in November. On the motion, all in favor, any opposed to vote. Second item on the agenda is the City Clerk's Office increase in fees, annual listing book, and dog licenses. Tim Spanos, you want to get up and give your name and address for the record?
No.
See what retirement privilege he's taken here?
Always a popular subject, fee increase. Have not done a fee increase for the annual listing books or dog licenses since 2004. So we're talking 15 years. Costs have gone up, not significantly, but they have gone up. On the poll book, going from 20 to 30, we aren't even breaking even, but, and we don't sell half of them were, but if we do sell one, I mean, it cost us $29.50 a book just to print, so, and we only print 100. You can get them electronic now anyways, but just to go up to 30, just to cover ourselves if anybody does want to purchase one, so if the council would consider that. The dog license fees, same date, must have done them the same night back on August 26th of 2004. Those were increased also. Costs are going up for paper, printing, dog license tags. We're now have switched to an online system that we've been using for a while, which costs us $3,000 a year just to maintain So I'm just proposing a modest $5 increase on dog licenses. Currently, a dog if for a spay neutered, we currently charge 10. So I'm proposing to go to 15. And let me see here. And then for male, okay, just on male and female, going from 20 to 25, that's unaltered. And then the kennel license tags, it's kind of like from 4 dogs or less from 15 to 25, up to 10 dogs from 35 to 50, and then more than 10 from 75 to 100. So that's basically the proposal.
Council Rosio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Mr. Spanos. I just have a couple of questions. Are these in line with surrounding communities as far as dog licenses and the fees that they charge?
Pretty much. Some are still lower. Some are higher. Some charge across the board, whether it's neutered or not neutered, it's the same price. They can go from $20, $25. I don't have the paperwork with me, but we did do a cost comparison of surrounding cities and towns.
Thank you. And then one other question is regarding the booklets. Is $30 high enough? And I ask that question because if we're barely breaking even now, as you had mentioned, it's only going to continue to go upward. I'm just wondering if we change that to more $35 only because printing is not going to slow down. It's going to continue to rise, and I just don't want to keep coming back if we don't have to and kind of push this off and just be done. So that's just my only thought. But thank you. I appreciate it.
McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the city clerk. So are you charging for the PDF option?
That's something new that we have, but we were going to charge the $20 fee for the PDF. If anybody did want to purchase it, the same as the poll book. If we were to increase it to 30 or 35, I think I still keep the PDF at 20.
So but that's not reflected in your proposed language here, right?
It's not, no.
So we would need to, if we're going to advance
If
this,
you
we-
want to include that, you can.
Well, I think if it's your intent to do it that way, and
Yeah.
and it's the will of the committee to advance it in that fashion, we should adjust that. Because right now it just says each copy, so it doesn't indicate
Right.
whether it's a printed copy or a soft copy or. So I'll defer to other councilors to see what the will is here, but that would be my suggestion if we decide to advance this, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilman Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Regarding the poll book, which I still affectionately call the busy book, and we have stacks of them, probably, because you get them every year as a candidate. But is the ordinance that we have, is it reflective of state law? Because I'm noticing in the language that we have in this ordinance, it's quite outdated. The language is on or before the June 15th of each year, the registrar in all cities and towns shall cause a sufficient number of such lists to be printed, typed, or mimeographed. So maybe it's time
Still have
that
a
we take...
mimeograph machine.
You need to let it go, Dave, let it go. So I think we should take a look at updating the ordinance, and is it, if you have it on PDF or if you have it electronically that you can send to people, why are we even going to copy them? And I love my busy book, I'm attached to it, but even I will move on to the electronic copy. If it's costing us $30 to make a book that we really don't need, maybe we can delve into the ordinance and have it reflective of the times and less costly, certainly, than $30 a book. So is it reflective of state law?
I believe that our code just cites the cost.
Well, it's administration of government. You have it attached here.
Yeah. I don't,
In the ordinance, right? You have it attached. If, it's the last section.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Yep, yes.
Title 8, Chapter 51, Section 6. And it's referenced in the busy book, the poll book.
Right.
So,
As prepared by the Board of Registrars in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 51. So we kind of cover ourselves just citing the chapter.
right? So is the chapter reflective of state law, or is this just strictly our ordinance?
The copies in your packet, Chapter 51, Section 6, is the current state law.
I was afraid you were going to say that. Okay. So
Is
then,
that-
so the state law is requiring us to put it in some type of mimeograph.
Yes. Yes, and we have to have one pristine hard copy as a permanent record. That's why all those hard copy books are downstairs.
Right.
So I believe that we have to furnish some that are printed. They don't tell you how many you have to print, but
So an electronic copy wouldn't constitute printing in this day and age?
I think it was still, we don't have the capability of doing it in-house, the electronic version, so we would still have to send it out. I don't know what that would cost, just to do an I don't even know if anybody would do just an electronic version
Okay.
without making something out of it.
Okay. So we're required to do this, and this, we
I
can't,
think so.
we can't, yeah, okay.
think-
That's too bad.
I mean,
because-
it's up to us as to the number of books that we want to print. I mean, some years I printed 50 books, and people are looking for them left and right, and then we print more the next year, and we're stuck with 10 or 20, so it's hard to tell the demand.
Thank you very much. So we're required to do it, unfortunately, so keep mimeographing them, and we'll have to raise the fee to pay for that cost. Thank you, Tim.
Any other questions regarding the mimeographed books? I think there's only one question, is who still has a typewriter to make the mimeograph? But that's just my only
We don't
question.
have any ink left for a
Yeah.
mimeograph.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, Councilor McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I would move to advertise a change to the ordinance amending Chapter 2 entitled Administration of the Code of the City of Peabody, as submitted by the city clerk in a communication August 14th, 2019, modified in the proposed language of Section 2-197 to read, Section 2-197, charges for annual listing, except as otherwise provided in the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 51, there shall be a charge of $30 for each printed copy and $20 for each soft copy of the list of persons commonly known as the annual listings prepared by the Board of Registrars in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 51 aforesaid. So moved.
On the motion,
And on the motion, was $20 a suggestion for the PDF version?
That was just a suggestion, yeah.
And Mr. Chairman, would you agree that soft copy is the proper terminology rather than a particular file format? PDF is
I think you want to say electronic copy.
electronic, so let's strike my reference to soft and say electronic, please. please.
On the motion. Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilors McGinn,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Gould, Gravel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Counsel McGinn.
5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move to advertise an ordinance amending Chapter 6 entitled Animals of the Code of the City of Peabody as submitted in a communication from the city clerk dated August 14th, 2019. So moved.
On the motion? Comments, questions, discussion? None, roll call.
Councilors McGinn,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Gravel.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Moved.